Homeownership, the American Dream. Are you considering buying a new home? Hi, I'm Associate Broker Wes Brooks, and I've been working in the housing industry for over 35 plus years. Over the next few minutes, I'll be answering some of the most commonly asked questions about buying a new home. I'll also be joined today by a number of other top professionals within the housing industry to answer some of the most common questions, along with some of those that rarely get asked. We'll be starting with understanding how much the house will cost. Lining up your lender should be your very first step. Unless you're a cash buyer, your lender will qualify you for a purchase price and supply you with a pre-approval letter. Sellers typically won't even consider any offer unless it is accompanied with a proof of funds or some type of ability to purchase, such as a pre-approval letter. I've asked Linda Sinacola of POB Lending to discuss the approval process. Welcome, Linda. Please explain to our viewers what the mortgage qualifying process is and how important it is to be pre-approved prior to viewing any properties.
Hi Wes, I'm Linda Sinacola of PLB Lending, and today we're going to talk about the importance of getting pre-approved. The first thing in getting pre-approved is to find out exactly what can you afford. Secondly, it lets the seller know that you can afford the home and that you are able to close so that they're able to take the home off the market. So let's go back to affordability and loan programs and what that's going to look like. The pre-approval process means that we are going to obtain a credit report. So we're going to pull credit from all three credit bureaus: TransUnion, Experian, and Equifax, along with public records. Public records is going to tell us whether there's been any previous bankruptcy, foreclosure, or any judgments. We're also going to obtain income information and asset information and review these to figure out exactly what you can afford for a monthly payment that's going to fit your budget. At PLB, we offer all types of loans: conventional, FHA, VA, USDA loans. We also offer rehab loans for both FHA and conventional loans. These are loans that would allow you to do improvements to the home that you're purchasing. And once we obtain your information, we're going to access your budget and work out affordable monthly payments and down payment options for you. That way you're an educated buyer and we can assure you a smooth loan process. Thanks, Wes.
Thank you, Linda. Understanding how to fit a buyer's budget into a loan program and a purchase price is critical. Once a buyer knows what price level they can afford, it's time to think about what will the house be. Deciding how many bedrooms and bathrooms we'll need and the garage and basement space necessary is just the first start. What specific communities are you looking for? Are you looking for a one-story, a tri-level, or perhaps a two-story? What type of neighborhood will you be wanting to be in? Do you want to be in a subdivision with an association, or perhaps on acreage? Are you flexible regarding the area? Every buyer has their own thoughts of what makes for a perfect home. Create a list and needs of what you're looking for. Discuss these with those that will be sharing the home with you. I'll take your home search criteria and create a custom search just for you. I can email you everything that is on the market matching your search criteria. As new listings hit the market, you'll receive automatic email updates on those new listings. From these emails, you should find some homes that truly stand out above the rest. That's when it's time to schedule showings. If time allows, I also suggest driving past those homes and through those neighborhoods prior to scheduling a showing to confirm that the area and exterior of the home fit your needs. However, if you're buying in a hot market, don't lose time. Simply contact me and we'll schedule your private showing right away, as soon as possible. Being prepared to write the offer at the time of the finding of the right house is incredibly critical. Unless a buyer is prepared to place an offer on a home, there's no reason to schedule any showings. What is seen today may not be available next week, next month, or even later the same day. That statement is not to pressure a buyer into writing an offer. It's simply stating the obvious. Unless a buyer is ready and able to buy a home, there's no reason to view homes. If a buyer simply just wants to look at homes, they can visit open houses or drive by homes for sale. Scheduling private showings and entering into a seller's private home is too intrusive for sightseeing and costly to the seller's office staff that performs the scheduling process, along with the time of the agent as well as the buyer. Here's an important topic. When viewing homes, keep in mind today's technology has offered sellers security systems that can record every movement and every word said on the property. Technically, sellers are supposed to disclose that they have these devices, but very few do. Do not give away your negotiating position or personal information by discussing these topics in the home. We can discuss your thoughts outside, away from those pesky camera doorbells. After we find the right home, we'll place the offer. The offer starts with viewing and accepting the seller disclosures. We'll review the MLS information to verify what is truly being offered for sale. Perhaps next door vacant lot is included, maybe a lawnmower or a pool table. If we don't place these items in the offer, they won't be included in the sale. Each offer has its own unique special details. There are many areas within an offer that could cause issues if not done correctly. Following up with the due diligence process, including the home inspections, appraisals, work diligently with the lender. All play a part in remaining in contract and getting to the closing table. Once the offer is accepted, the next step is the home inspection. I've invited seasoned home inspector Fritz Weber to discuss the importance of the home inspection, the process, and what is inspected, along with what additional inspections could be available.
Hey Wes, I'm here today to talk a little bit about home inspections. A brief summary of what a home inspection is. A home inspection is a look through trained eyes at the home on the day of the inspection, and it covers all the mechanical systems from top to bottom and uses a bunch of very high-tech and specialized tools to seek out hidden shock hazards, fire hazards, moisture-related problems, etc. And typically then a report is written up, given to the prospective buyer, and they can examine it, go back to the home inspector or others involved and work from there. Also, people, if they desire, there are additional inspections that can be added. One of the most common ones would be a radon test to check radon levels in the house. The silent killer is sometimes called. It is a second leading cause of lung cancer worldwide. It can be fixed easy. You just have to know it's there. A qualified inspector can do that. Well and septics inspections are done. It's a good one if you're on a well and septic to have done, because oftentimes there are no visible symptoms of a septic system that's very weak, but a good inspector would get out there and do some cores and look for certain indices of a failed or failing system. And you can get these things sort of as a package deal with most inspectors, or kind of a la carte, depending on what your needs are. All right, so thanks, Wes. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Fritz. Of course, you can make an offer stronger by waiving the home inspection, but I do not suggest it. There are way too many unknowns that inspectors can find before buying a home. By waiving the inspection, you may be finding the home has more issues than you can possibly imagine. It may be better to miss out on that home rather than to buy a money pit. One way to manage unforeseen issues is with a home warranty. Even a seasoned home inspector can't absolutely find everything. I've asked home warranty specialist Stacey Kraft to discuss home warranties with us. Hi Stacey, can you tell us what a home warranty is and what it covers?
That's a great question, Wes. A home warranty protects the buyer from unforeseen repairs. When you're thinking home warranty, think Peach: plumbing, electrical, appliances, cooling, and heating. You can purchase a home warranty for 1, 2, or 3 years, and yes, they are renewable. Thanks, Wes.
Thank you, Stacey. So by remembering the word Peach, you can remember what is included in the home warranty. Home warranties are a negotiable item within an offer, and it can be placed in any offer to purchase regardless if it was mentioned in the MLS to be included or not. This may protect the buyer from unforeseen issues after moving into their new home. An offer also requires an earnest money deposit. It's usually referred to simply as the EMD. This is often a deposit of 1 to 5% of the purchase price as a good faith deposit, and the amount often depends on the type of purchase it is, such as an FHA, conventional, cash offer. This deposit should be available at the time of the offer. If a buyer does not have the EMD yet, holding off to view homes is recommended until the funds are available. Let's discuss what goes into the offer. Of course, we will be offering a purchase price. However, the offer is so much more than just a number. We also include the expiration date and time of the offer. Typically, we allow 24 to 72 hours for a reply from the seller. In a hot market, this time frame may be cut much shorter. This helps us not to drag out the wait too long and losing valuable time and perhaps finding another house if this offer isn't accepted. We also include the anticipated closing date. Often, this date is 30 to 45 days from the offer or accepted date, depending on what the buyer's lender suggests for your personal loan type or program. The last date is just as important as the last two. The occupancy date. When does the buyer get possession of the home and can start moving in? Some sellers need to close on their current home before they can move or close on their new home. Obtaining possession of a new home is not always on the day of the closing. 30 days after the closing is not uncommon. It's a negotiable timeline. When extended occupancy is needed by the seller, rent is often paid to the buyer. The seller is then charged a negotiated daily prorated fee closely matching the buyer's new principal, interest, taxes, and insurance, and we refer to this as PITI. The title company holds these necessary funds in an escrow account, and from those closing funds, it pays out the escrow as needed after the occupancy is granted. The purchaser receives their rent, and the seller receives the unused balance. If an issue is found during a home inspection or the appraisal, negotiations are reopened. We have multiple options. We can simply ask the seller to repair the issue, or we can negotiate an amount to be deducted from the selling price to offset the issue. It's all done through negotiating. If a mutual agreement cannot be met, all parties will sign a mutual release and the earnest money is refunded to the buyer and the search for a new home continues. Once the inspection process is over, the lender schedules the appraisal. The title company starts to prepare for the closing, and the buyer needs to start thinking about their utilities and home insurance. I asked Leron Williams of Community Insurance Center to discuss the importance of preparing for your new home purchase. Hi Leron, thank you for joining us today. So please tell us, how important is the home insurance in the process of getting ready for the closing?
Thanks, Wes. Home insurance coverage plays a critical role for both the buyers and the lenders in the event of a home purchase. After you purchase your home, if there is a covered peril that causes damage to your home or even your personal property, your insurance company will often compensate you for the cost to repair the home, as well as replacing the home if needed. For the lender, their interest is in protecting the loan that they have on your home. If the home becomes a total loss, the lender wants to make sure that their investment in your home is also covered. And this is the reason why having insurance coverage is required at the closing of a home. Wes, thank you so much.
Thank you, Leron. It's important to cover your assets in buying a new home, yours and the lender's. Now that we're this far along in the home buying process, it seems like we're doing a long waiting game for the lender. What we'll actually be waiting on is the underwriter. The underwriter is the entity that actually supplies the funds to the closing through the lending process. The lender will be periodically reaching out to the buyer as needed to verify financial information for the underwriter. The title company will be working to prepare the closing documents. This is all a build-up for the final clear to close notice from the lender. Once the clear to close notice is achieved, the closing is typically 3 to 4 days away. At this point, the title company becomes the primary driving force for the entire closing. As the agent, I'll be monitoring the entire process with each of those members within the transaction. The actual closing or signing of the documents can take 30 to 60 minutes. However, funding can be either immediate or delayed depending on the many different elements within the transaction. Oftentimes, if the funding isn't complete at the time of the closing, it can be a matter of simply waiting a few minutes or an hour or more for the funds to arrive at the title company. The funding process is done by wiring money through the Federal Exchange. Neither the lender, title company, or the buyer have any control over this governmental process. Patience may be required even for funding to complete on another day. Why is this important to the buyer? Because the keys cannot be turned over to the buyer until funding is complete. Many times, we may not know if the funding has hit the title company until we're almost done. Proper timing and scheduling is critical. Speaking of the title company, I've asked Justin Bankston of Fidelity National Title Company to discuss the buyer's title policy. Welcome, Justin. Can you discuss the buyer's title policy for our viewers today?
Hey Wes, thanks for having me on today to talk about buyer's title insurance. An owner's title policy is a policy that protects home buyers' property rights. An owner's title policy ensures the land that the buyer is purchasing is free and clear of any liens or encumbrances. It also identifies the land that the house sits on. A buyer, when purchasing a home under contract, states that the seller is to furnish them with an owner's title insurance policy. Some coverages for the owner's title policy, in addition to the land, is forgery in a document, undisclosed missing or heirs, wills not properly probated, also incorrect legal descriptions, and clerical errors within land records. These are some of the major issues that we see in the title search process that we will get corrected for the buyer. We talked about owner's title policies and mortgage title policies. An owner's title policy is paid for by the seller and insures you, the homeowner, for the entire time that you own that land. A mortgage title policy is not to be confused with the owner's title policy, as the mortgage title policy is paid for by the buyer and insures the mortgage company. In a cash or land contract transaction, there is only one policy issued, and that's the owner's policy, and is paid for typically by the seller. Thanks for having me on, Wes. Back to you.
Thank you, Justin. So the title insurance policy protects the buyer from any prior liens, judgments, assessments, or encumbrances on the property. Any prior liens or debt of any kind is paid off at the closing. Once the buyer closes on their new property, the only lien remaining is whatever the mortgage or financing the buyer used to purchase the home. I hope this video answers most of your questions. Of course, I'm happy to answer any additional questions that you may have. I also want to thank my special guests today, Linda Sinacola, Fritz Weber, Stacey Kraft, Leron and Justin Bankston. Please keep in mind that by working with myself, Associate Broker Wes Brooks, you have a team of professionals working on your behalf to make sure that your new home is everything you hoped it to be. I invite you to visit my YouTube network, Finding New Neighbors, to view more real estate videos. Pick up copies of my books on new construction and real estate from Author House Publishing or from many of the online book outlets such as Amazon.com or your local neighborhood bookstore. You can reach me by either emailing me at findingnewNeighbors@yahoo.com or by calling or texting me at 248-701-7660. Be sure to subscribe, like, and share my YouTube network, Finding New Neighbors. I always appreciate referrals. I want to thank you for watching, and I look forward to hearing from you soon. So let's get started at Finding New Neighbors.